Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're taking a trip back to the luminous twilight of 19th century St. Petersburg. We're going to dive into one of Fyodor Dostoevsky's earliest and most poignant novellas, White Nights.
You know, right from the get-go, Dostoevsky just pulls you in. He makes it so intimate, so nostalgic with these opening lines. It's like he's not just telling a story, he's talking directly to you, the dear reader. And he's getting you ready to step into the mind of a protagonist who is, well, a character unlike any other.
So let's talk about this guy. The entire story is told through the eyes of our narrator, who, by the way, doesn't even have a name. And that's kind of the point. He doesn't define himself by his job or his friends because he doesn't really have any. What defines him is this profound, deep loneliness and this incredibly rich, all-consuming life he lives inside his own head.
Just think about that for a second. 8 years in a huge, bustling city like St. Petersburg, and he has not a single acquaintance. Can you even imagine? He walks the streets every day, a total stranger to every single person he sees. But here's the twist. In his mind, he knows them all. He watches their lives from a distance, creating entire backstories for them.
So how does he cope with this complete isolation? It's actually fascinating. Instead of, trying to make friends with people, he makes friends with the city itself. He gives personalities to the buildings. He literally feels like they talk to him. At one point, he's heartbroken when this pretty little house gets painted a new color. He mourns it like he lost a real friend. It's a really vibrant world he lives in, but it's a world built for one.
And this is how he sees himself. Not a human being, but a creature of an intermediate sort. That line just captures it perfectly, doesn't it? He's not quite grounded in the real world, but he's not completely lost in his fantasies either. He's stuck, right in the middle, in that fuzzy space between what's real and what's a dream.
I mean, the life he lives inside his head is incredible. It's so rich, so elaborate. He's the hero, he's having these epic romances and wild adventures, but it's all just up here. Meanwhile, the real world, with real people and real heartbreak, is just passing him by. And then you get these moments he calls sobering up. Oof, that's when the fantasy just melts away and the crushing, awful weight of his loneliness comes crashing back down.
Okay, so this is where everything changes. One night, during one of St. Petersburg's famous White Nights, where it's twilight all night long, the dreamer's fantasy world and the real world, they're about to have a head-on collision. And it all starts when he finds a young woman, Nastenka, crying by a canal.
For him, it's just monumental. He basically acts out a scene straight from one of his daydreams, the chivalrous hero saving the damsel in distress. And the craziest part? It actually works. This one random encounter sparks this immediate, really heartfelt connection. You've got two incredibly lonely people who've just found each other.
And Nastenka, she's totally charmed by him. He's so shy and honest, so different. So she agrees to meet him again. But she gives him this one very strange and, let's be honest, completely impossible condition. She tells him he can't fall in love with her. I mean, can you imagine? For a guy who lives entirely in his romantic imagination, being told not to fall in love, that's like telling him not to breathe.
So they keep meeting up over the next few nights, and this weird little friendship of theirs starts to get deeper. They start opening up to each other, and we find out they're both lonely, but for very, very different reasons.
Yeah, their situations couldn't be more different. It's a total study in contrasts. The dreamer, he's a prisoner of his own mind. He chose this solitude, right? But Nastenka, she is literally a prisoner in her own house. Get this, her blind grandmother has been pinning Nastenka's dress to her own for 2 years so she can't run off. So while he's been avoiding real human connection, she's been absolutely desperate for it.
So, Nastenka just pours her heart out to him. Turns out she's in love with this guy, a former lodger, who promised a year ago that he'd come back to St. Petersburg and marry her. And she knows he's back in the city now, but he hasn't called. Nothing. And here's the kicker. She asks our dreamer, the ultimate romantic hero in his own mind, to help her get in touch with this other guy. And he agrees, even agrees to deliver a letter for her. Oh, the irony. All right, so we get to the fourth night. And this is when Nastenka's hope for this other guy it shatters completely. It creates this huge vacuum, this empty space. And what rushes in to fill it? You guessed it. All of the dreamer's unspoken feelings for her. She's just devastated, absolutely crushed. And it's not just that he doesn't want her, it's the silence. The cruel,
dismissive silence of not even getting a reply. That's what really breaks her.
And seeing her in so much pain, he just can't take it anymore. He can't hold back. You can almost feel the struggle inside him, right? Every instinct that has kept him safe in his little fantasy world is screaming at him, stay quiet, don't do it. But his heart just takes over. He breaks her one rule and confesses everything. He lays his whole lonely life right out there for her.
And what happens next is just a whirlwind. She's heartbroken, she's grateful, she has this real affection for this kind, gentle soul who's been there for her, and in that moment, she accepts him. She turns her back on her old love and just embraces the dreamers. And just like that, for one beautiful, perfect, fleeting moment, the dreamer's fantasy is reality. All those vague daydreams he's had for years, they're suddenly concrete plans. They're talking about him moving in, about what their life will be like together. For the very first time, he isn't just dreaming about living, he is actually alive. But this is Dostoevsky we're talking about. He's a master of realism, even in a story that's all about dreams. And as we all know, real life is rarely as neat and tidy as our fantasies, right? So there they are at the absolute peak of the shared happiness, and reality comes calling. As they're walking and planning their future, the past literally walks right up to them on the street. It's him, Nastenka's lover. And in a single instant, the whole dream just shatters. She leaves the dreamer's side and runs straight to the man she'd been waiting for all along.
And that was it. Their story was over. Just as quickly as it all began, their whole future together just vanishes into the night. The bubble pops, and our dreamer is right back where he started, alone on the pavement.
But here's what's so incredible, maybe the most remarkable part of the whole story. He's not bitter. He's not angry. Instead, he is profoundly, deeply grateful. He doesn't curse his bad luck. He blesses her for giving him that brief moment of real, actual happiness. He gets it. He understands that those 4 nights of messy, imperfect reality were more powerful, more real than a whole lifetime of his perfect, sterile dreams. And so the story leaves us with this beautiful, kind of heartbreaking question. Yeah, the dreamer goes back to his lonely room, but he's not the same person. Something inside him has changed. He now has a real memory, something tangible to hold on to. So Dostoevsky is really asking us, what's the real value of those fleeting, powerful moments in our own lives? Is one single moment of pure, unadulterated happiness enough to last a lifetime? It's something to think about, isn't it?